every story that I report, it doesn't matter if it's on the drug epidemic, on coal, on water, clean water and access to it. You know, I don't think I've reported a single story where I haven't heard the phrase or some iteration of it of we kept the lights on for this state and now no one cares about us, something like that. So it's a region of people that feel kind of forgotten. And when you look at the drug epidemic and its effects, it tends to also be the region that is hardest hit. I try to do a balance of reporting on focusing on the bad things. You can't ignore the bad things, right? But one of the good stories I get to do, and I've done this for the last 2 years, and I hope to go like every year, even if I'm not covering it, because I think it's such a cool event. A softball tournament every year that brings in the people that are participants in the drug court. So there's people who have addiction issues, but are sober for the time being. They're in recovery. And Michelle Akers is actually the head of the Day Report Center in Southern West Virginia. So I met her at one of these softball tournaments, and we started talking, and this was around the time that Logan County, which is where she's from Man, was looking at passing an ordinance to ban needle exchange programs in the county. But we started talking about that a little bit, and she told me about this new program that she was starting called Fresh Start.
I'm a licensed psychologist, received a master's degree in child clinical psychology, came back here to Logan, and I worked at Logan Regional Medical Center for a while, and then I opened a private practice. So in my private practice, I primarily worked with children. And then the opioid epidemic hit this town pretty hard, and my work was kind of forced to shift to more substance use disorder treatment. So I started doing work here at the Day Report Center, way back when they opened drug court. I think it was about 2006 or 7. I was a contractual psychologist for them. I did their assessments, I did some therapy, and I just really liked what the Day Report was and just what it did to help, get people back on their feet. And so I left private practice in 2012, and I came here as the executive director. And so now I'm the license in charge here and the executive director, and we have 4 counties: Boone, Lincoln, Logan, and Mingo. It didn't used to be this busy. When I first took this job back in 2012, I truly thought that I was in a position where, like, wow, this is easy. This is so much easier than private practice. But as the problem's gotten worse, and particularly since heroin and meth have made its way to our area, we keep getting busier and busier, and we keep getting more and more clients. And the clients that we work with, unfortunately, are in such unmanageable states of their life that it just takes an entire team of people just to help keep them stable.
That is called what you see at the DOT Award for the Funeral Directors Association. It's basically kind of like, I don't really want to say it like this, but like Funeral Director of the Year. That was when we had the flooding in the state of West Virginia, the Greenbrier area, where a lot of people died. We, along with the Day Report, took in donations and we had, I'm going to say 20-some clients from the Day Report Center that volunteered to go into, we went to Gully Bridge, Ravenswood, those areas to help people clean out their homes, do things like that. We even prepared a meal for everybody that day that was there. The county commission had a truckload of mattresses and box springs that they took up there. And so we took, I think, 2 U-Hauls full of supplies. We went into people's homes, helped them rip out their carpets. I mean, and when I say we, I mean the clients from the day, like I said, about 20-some clients volunteered their time to go. They didn't have to do it, but they volunteered to go, and some of their staff members. And so we probably got home 11, 12 o'clock that night. They spent the whole day, week before, gathering supplies. And so I was awarded that through the Funeral Association. And just in these little beds here, there's 40 some. The students raised, they started at the Day Report Center by seed, growing things there, and then brought it and transplanted it. But they have taken, this season alone, about 2,500 pounds of fresh produce to the food pantry. Come down here once a week and harvest everything. But we'll go collect some eggs here. They just started producing eggs just not a few weeks ago because they weren't mature enough yet. So we'll collect them back here. Don't you dare. They say I'm the best dressed chicken farmer around.
Well, I mean, I'm not naive enough to realize that there's no way that our efforts alone will solve this problem for our region. As I told you all before, like I've seen it grow and grow to a point of it's become a monster. It's bigger than I would have ever imagined it would possibly get. And I don't know where the plateau will be. So I think for my sanity, I have to view it as, making a dent. If we can help, obviously we want to help as many people as we can. If we can, if we can help 20% of the people that come to the Day Report's door, then I think I will view that as a success. Right. And I think success looks very different for each person. I don't know that there's any one entity that could actually put an end to this. I feel like unfortunately it's gotten way out of control to a point of, I don't want to say a point of no return, but things aren't going to ever be the way they were before the opioid epidemic came. And so I use that a lot. I say making a dent a lot because I just feel like, we just keep punching away and just trying to bruise this monster. Maybe not murder the monster, but bruise it.
People don't want to learn the facts about treatment and recovery and things like that. And until everybody will start to do that, then nothing's going to change around here. It's going to be the same, and this area is going to end up being nothing. We've already started losing our population. Businesses are closing. If we don't come together and help with treating and trying to stop this epidemic, nothing's ever going to happen. You can see how we get about this. I think both of us, Michelle and I both, came from families that have spent their whole life helping other people. And yes, that's just what we do. And I don't see it any other way. I mean, it's natural. I mean, I don't understand why other people won't do it. You know, we talked about when we went into town, you saw the nice big sign, talks about Logan is the friendliest town in West Virginia. Logan is a friendly town. It's a great town. I've lived here all my life, and you know, I would do anything for Logan. But it bothers me that I drive into town every day and see that, and then know that there are people in this town that don't want to help other people. So how can you be the friendliest town in West Virginia when you want to run people out of this town? So it's very bothersome to me.
No matter how different we are as Appalachians to Californians to New Englanders, there's a lot of understanding, I think, being read about what this issue is, and it doesn't matter who you are, it can affect you. And I think that's for the better, because the more that we have that, the more that politicians from any breed are going to try and fix this. They're going to have at least some constituents in their districts that really, really are affected and have had their lives upended by this. And that's really sad. That is horrible. But if we can understand how widespread it is, there's no excuse for anyone not being involved in the solution. And think of, in what other situation would you ever sit there and say, I'm not going to be a part of this. They should just die. They've brought this on themselves. I can't think of anything. I really can't. You know, you could talk about criminals, I guess. A lot of people, we have the death penalty in some states. I guess people think that, you know, you commit a crime and you should be in jail. I also don't think, I think that thought is evolving a lot, especially as we have more and more drug offenders in jail and less violent crimes. And that's, you know, if you're going to define yourself, you have to sit there and you're the one that has to look at yourself in the mirror every morning and go to bed and know who you are. And if you're willing to let a generation of people die, then who are you?
Treatment works. People do recover.
Right.
I mean, it's that simple, really. Like, it takes a lot of support, compassion, decency, kindness, but people do get better.
You have to give somebody a chance, and it might be more than one chance. You know, sometimes it takes 4 or 5 times or even more, but you know, if it helps them, that's what you got to do.
And you know, we're not enablers.
No.
We don't enable. If somebody needs to be held accountable for something, then they need to be held accountable for something. The day report is sometimes referred to as hug a thug, which, you know, I don't respond to that very well. It's so far from true. Like, treatment's hard. It's a lot harder than going up to jail and playing cards and laying around. I mean, you know, treatment requires a lot of soul searching and work. And fighting through cravings and fighting triggers is not easy. Staying sober is not easy. It requires a lot of work. And I just think people need to understand that. And a lot of support. Absolutely right.
The person needs people to just kind of say, hey, I got your back. You know, if you need something, I'll be here.
But good things are happening. Things are finally, like there are more and more people who are supportive of recovery and there's a lot of good things happening to try to help people down their path of recovery. There's a lot more options than there were even 3 years ago. So, I mean, the help is out there if people want it and are at a point where they can get to it. And heck, we're coming to you now, so with the QRT.
People are learning too a little bit more now what they are doing and are actually walking into the office and saying, hey, I need help. So they know it's there now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so that's just the support. Don't judge it until you actually learn about it. You ask questions and learn the facts.